Welcome to College Towns. My name is Ryan Allen, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about why parents may tolerate those terrible school car pickup lines that are usually much maligned. And I know they're much maligned because this is probably my most popular article entitled "The School Car Pickup Line is a National Embarrassment." And in that article, I go over all the reasons why these school car pickup lines are bad and maybe kind of how we got there, including some popular numbers on the dropping of people certainly letting their kids walk to school, but also even taking the school bus. And the story that I'm going to share with you today happened in my own community. Tragically, a little boy was killed when he was walking, not even all the way to school, but just to his bus stop. And this happens right around the corner from me just last week. And I actually went there. I'm going to show you that here in the next part of the video. But I just wanted to open up with highlighting maybe why I'm even talking about this issue. And even in this article, I sort of talk about sending my international students out to schools, and they're kind of surprised by the school car pickup line or how people get to school. And in this case, the child who was walking to the bus stop on his way to school, I'm sending one of my international students to that very school in a month's time. And so this is a tragedy that impacts my community, impacts me, it impacts people that I work with. And so it's emblematic of things that parents are thinking about and that broader America is trying to grapple with in terms of walkability and schools and students and freedom and things like that, all related to how we focus so much on our car culture. And you'll see that in the video and then also some of my recommendations at the end. So go ahead and let's jump to me out in Dana Point where this tragic event occurred.
So I'm at this spot where Adrian Morales-Pacheco was run down by a driver when he was walking over to the bus stop on his way to school. And we can see right here that there is already a little memorial out here for Adrian where, you know, all the people have been putting flowers, candles. Apparently his favorite color was blue. And so you can see the community is devastated by this. And one thing that was potentially missed when people were talking about this death is that they were often blaming the driver. And certainly when you're driving drunk, when you have multiple DUIs, which was allegedly the record of the perpetrator, you certainly can blame that, yes. But there's other ways that if we look around this area that we are in, we can see that this is not an area that was designed or that they care about pedestrians. Everything about this space is basically for cars and not for people walking, and certainly not for little boys walking to school, walking to the bus stop. And I'm going to show you a couple of these things, a couple of these designs that we can see that exactly that pedestrians were an afterthought and that this is a dangerous area for people like Adrian who was tragically killed here. So the first thing that I want to show you is that we have these flexi poles, okay? These are often used in pedestrian spaces or spaces where cars and pedestrians intersect. So we can see these are here. Now, what we should know about flexi poles is flexi poles do not offer protection. A car can drive right through this, exactly what apparently the drunk driver or the driver who plowed over young Adrian. And so DOTs and localities put these flexi poles, really to signal to the driver that maybe they should pay attention. Hey, it's time to pay attention because why? Well, you're going to go ahead and damage your own car. So if we come over here, we can actually see on this curve here, and I got to be careful because cars are driving through. Yes, it's painted yellow. Yes, it has flexi poles. We can also see that tires have hit this curve and have been running over that. So that means people are either turning out from the beach are coming over from this other dock area, and they are not paying attention, and they are hitting the curve here. That happens multiple times. I even was looking at Google Maps, and we can see that one of these was knocked over. This one here, in fact, if you can see here, it had to be plastered again relative to the other one because somebody has already run it over one time before. So that just tells you that this is a spot where drivers are driving very fast, they aren't always paying attention, and they are consistently hitting this space.
All right. So even though I was really there, I think Google Street View is really helpful in showing kind of the evolution of the street, especially some of these street designs in terms of the choices that we can see that the city has made that reflects some of these obstacles that I'm talking about. So if we just look right now, here it is, then we can see these bollards here. This is in August 2025. So basically this kind of just happened. We can see, just like when I was there, these two bollards flexi poles. They're not bollards. These two flexi poles are right where they were. If we notice that actually, you can kind of see a mark here that we didn't notice when I was there, was that there was actually a third flexi pole at one time. And I'll show you that here in a second. But we can even see this one. This one has been hit. Look at this one that's bent over. And we were able to see that in the video. I showed you how it had that piece that was kind of broken open and when I was out there. So this one has obviously been hit. You can see marks and scuffs on the sidewalk from where cars have come in. So let's keep kind of going back. I'll take a couple of these. And in this one, you can actually see that little point where there was another flexi pole. And actually, I saw that when I was out there, but I didn't realize that was where the third flexi pole was. If we keep going, see, here we go. This is their friend. So this flexi pole fell off, likely from someone hitting it, potentially. I guess they could have technically fallen off. The thing is with these flexi poles, they're very cheap. They're not really made to protect anything. They're not really made for long term. It's really just a short term solution. But we'll see here that they've been here for maybe almost a decade. And as we keep going, we can see, that one fell off before. So they had to come back out here. They recognized that this fell off once. This was in 2021, and they have put this back. Now, how did this fall over? Was it just cheap? Maybe. Did a car hit it? Also very possible. The point being is that these things aren't very useful, and they're just kind of a Band-Aid, and maybe not even a Band-Aid. That's giving Band-Aids a bad name. You can see that in 2021 video, just like we've seen before, maybe my head's in the way, but cars have been hitting the same curve. And that, so I was here 5 years later, cars still hitting the curve. I keep going through, one of them is gone. So again, keep going back and back and back. And we'll go to 2017. The three are all there, three wise men or three blind mice. Maybe that's the better example. Eventually, though, yes, they're all gone. So in 2016, somewhere between 2016 and 17, they installed these flexi poles, I guess with the recognition that drivers keep plowing into this traffic or this pedestrian island. So there was some reason they had to do that. They didn't just randomly doing that. And again, we can take it from these little scuff marks that maybe that's the reason that they did it. And I also want to highlight this, and I didn't make a big deal about it in when I was out there, but I started noticing this when looking back, that we have this sort of bright reflector pole. This is also telling us that they needed to add even more sort of bright, high-vis, whatever material to make sure that drivers are seeing this and not plowing into this pedestrian island. And this actually wasn't there in, again, I think like 2014, maybe. Yeah, we finally see that literally just nothing's here. And again, what do we see? We see this mauled up from, I guess, cars plowing into it, hitting it. What else is going to be doing this? We can even see, I'll move out of the way a little bit, this concrete that's kind of eating away. So again, there was a recognition that this was a place that cars kept hitting. Again, we're talking about 2014. I was back in 2025. That's where Adrian was hit. 2025, 10 years, a decade of understanding that this was an unsafe spot.
What we're in is a pedestrian island. This whole thing is a pedestrian island. Why? Because right here is a slip lane. This is a slip lane so that cars coming out of the beach can drive faster onto this Dana Point Harbor Drive and then on to, again, these faster, wider roads. And so these slip lanes are very dangerous, actually. Why? Because, again, cars are not slowing down. When they're coming around this blind corner here, you can't really see anything. And they're whipping around, they're flying through here, they're not stopping. And what's funny is even this curve, cars are coming around. Look at this. This is all dented up. This means drivers are not paying attention even here. On this side, we can see that they are hitting. That means, again, drivers are not paying attention. They're hitting that, or they're incapacitated coming from the beach. Maybe they had a couple beers. That's very, very common. Same with on this side. This side is the same way. And again, we got to watch out for cars when we're doing this. We can see on this side it has the same thing. All these tire marks. So there's tire marks on one side, tire marks on the other side here. Meanwhile, we're in this pedestrian island. One side, cars not paying attention, coming through fast. On the other side, cars are coming this way and this way, both going very, very fast in all directions. This is a very uncomfortable space to be in for a pedestrian. This is a space that is not designed for pedestrians. It's designed for cars to move fast here, cars to move fast here, cars to move fast here. And we know that's a fact because, why? Because cars are not paying attention, they're hitting this, okay? Not just the driver with the DUI. These are drivers who didn't hit anybody. This is something that constantly happens. And then we look over here. Look at this, okay? You might not even think about what this is, but this is actually this is not for pedestrians either. This is also for cars, okay? So what this is this is a breakaway pole. Okay, it's a breakaway pole. So when a car comes flying through here and hits the pole, if we look down here, it's designed for this to crumple over. So they call them breakaway poles. Department of Transportation often have this as a standard. And so when a car comes flying through and hits this, it will fall over. And the idea is that it softens the impact for the driver. It falls over. It's safer for the drivers, yes, sure. But it's more dangerous for pedestrians. Why? Because a car comes flying through here, and rather than stopping, it's going to fly right on through. Now, why is all this important? So we have the slip lanes, we have the flexi poles, we have the breakaway light poles, and then these fast streets. So those four different things are making this place unsafe. So yes, we had a drunk driver, a DUI driver, that committed this tragic accident. But I use accident maybe a little bit too lightly because the space was not designed for pedestrians. It was not designed for young walkers going to school, walking to the school bus, waiting for the school bus. It was designed for people to drive fast. It was designed to be more forgiving to people with DUIs. It was designed for people who weren't paying attention, who had a couple beers at the beach. We can literally see the beach right over there, okay? And so what do we need to do? If we were truly going to design this space and in memory of young Luis Adrian, if we were truly going to do that, what do we do? Well, first off, this slip lane has to go. We need to pedestrianize this slip lane. I'm sorry, that's dangerous. The other thing we need to do is we need to put bollards, real bollards. This needs to be concrete. In fact, I didn't even see this, but this clearly has been hit a couple times. That's why this is like being ripped off. Okay, that's why these are designed to be forgiving. So we need to put up real concrete bollards. We need to make it that when a driver comes through, like so many have done, you can literally see it on every part of this island. So when a driver does hit this space, it's not forgiving. They aren't able to blast through. We want, when they come here, to hit a concrete barrier so that people standing here aren't in any danger, okay? That's what we need. We need protection from the car. We shouldn't give them the option. We need to make it a safe place for pedestrians because this is a pedestrianized place. We're walking to the beach. We can see the beach. People over there, yes, they drive over there, but they're walking around, they're coming over, they're going to the stores. There's a little shopping center just down the street. Okay, we'll walk over there in a second. And so we need to change the way that we design the street. We cannot just blame somebody with a DUI because we gave them the choice. Why don't we give them the choice? Let's take it out of their hands. Let's make the street safer for the people who are here now. And we can do it for young Adrian Morales-Pacheco.